right, 10 minutes before 10 o'clock. Thank you for tuning in. We had our next guest on the air with us once before. He's the author of the book called Finding Beauty, Think, See, and Feel Beautiful. And I remember the conversation went way deeper than I had expected it to. I thought it was going to be, kind of surface level beauty, but he really does understand the true meaning of the word beauty. And he is Dr. Dennis Schimpf. He's on the phone. He's a board-certified plastic surgeon. He's the founder of Sweetgrass Public Plastic Surgery. And his book helps you out a lot in trying to come to grips with, what God has given you and what you have to accept. I remember we had a conversation with Dr. Schimpf about the relationship we have with the children's craniofacial, remember?
Yes, we did.
Dr. Schimpf, it's nice to have you back. Good morning.
Good morning. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Where are you? I can't remember where you live.
Charleston, South Carolina.
Oh, okay. So how's weather there, first of all?
Warming up.
Nice.
So what is the most common flaw that people ask you to fix? Is it wrinkles?
That's probably the most common because it affects everyone to some degree. So that's one of the big ones. In terms of body stuff, it's usually, deposition of fat, something that they're looking at for some liposuction is probably the largest number of questions about that. Mm-hmm.
Do you do liposuction wouldn't be in the face, would it? Or is it? Is it ever in the face?
No, usually the neck area we do a little bit. A lot of folks, especially
really?
Cameras today, seeing selfies, they notice they get that loose, big neck and they hate it. So that's one area that we do it near the face.
It just seems that it used to be, plastic surgery used to be just for adult females and some adult males, but now teenagers are wanting to have whatever it is done. Is that recommended?
Well, it's definitely something we're seeing a big surge in, and it's definitely a difficult question and one that I struggle with at different times. I have children, and my rule or sort of take on it has been I'm very careful to do anything or really need to be convinced to do something to a child under 18, mainly because they can't consent for themselves at that point. And so when you have somebody else giving consent to do a surgery to another person, it gets a little tricky, and you really want to make sure everybody's on board and understands what's going on and why and what the risks are. Because obviously if it goes great, everybody's happy. But if there are, trouble or a little bit of setback, it can be hard.
I had seen a piece on plastic surgery. There was this one teenager. She was like 14 years old, and she was out in Texas. And she was just, being very adamant that she just needed to have a nose job because that would guarantee her more friends and everything. And then the mother signed the papers for her to have this done. Do parents get too pushy?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear the last part.
Oh, do parents get too pushy when it comes to wanting to do what they think is best for their teenager? And do they jump the gun and say, no, you can have this plastic surgery and I'll sign for you when it's not good for them?
Yeah, I mean, we hope that they do that, that there's some pushback by the parents. I've seen it go both ways. I've seen folks come in with their child and basically say, I'm doing this just so that somebody tells them they don't need to have this done and kind of stop arguing with them. But I've also seen parents come in and say, my daughter really wants this and I support it. And as her parent, I think, it's okay to do it. And again, at 14, that's an awfully early age to be doing alterations to appearance, especially on the face.
Yeah, so
I really push for that 18 years old to try to get to that point.
Yeah, your job has to be twofold. I mean, the skill is one thing. The actual knowledge of how to manipulate somebody's face, that's all part of it. But there's got to be a psychological thing in your world. You have to kind of know, right?
Yeah.
Do you know, there's probably a couple names I can name, like famous people, but every once in a while there'll be an actress, maybe an actor, but mostly ladies, who have something done. They're famous. I think the girl who played Dirty Dancing is one of them. And
oh, yeah, Jennifer Grey. She had the nose job.
A couple of them, and they're really pretty.
Renee Zellweger.
Yeah, and then they get something done, and they're still pretty, but now they are different, and there's something like in Renee Zellweger. I love Renee Zellweger, but she lost something when she got prettier. Does that make? In other words, she's not as attractive even though she's prettier. Does that conversation ever happen with your clients?
Absolutely, yeah, and it's hard when you're in the public view, obviously, because you're being scrutinized at certainly a different level. I think I see people, and we see celebrities either trying to fit a certain appearance, as they age. They're kind of fighting aging, and maybe in most circumstances where it doesn't look good, it's because they've overdone it or been too aggressive or done too much. I think, trying to age gracefully, as some say, and within the confines of your appearance, there's a lot more things today that can be done that are not as dramatic or as invasive to kind of just help you slow that process, or do it a little bit with more sort of character and less aging, if you will. But it's definitely an issue, and that's one thing when we see couples come in too, where a husband and wife come in, and you really, I can't emphasize enough that somebody does it for themselves, because if you're doing this to either please a partner or a spouse or to fit a certain role in the public view, you're gonna, if it doesn't go perfectly, you're not going to be happy, and ultimately you're going to look worse. And in some of these celebrity cases, we definitely see that.
When a person has plastic surgery and they, we work at one of the local malls here in town, and we notice some people walking by the window and they're deemed obese, I guess, and then they're losing weight, but you can tell they're losing weight, but they're kind of sagging. Is that when plastic surgery is a benefit?
Yes, and that's a huge thing that we see today. There's a huge push, obviously, just in health and fitness, and we're seeing a lot of people feeling much better about themselves as they lose weight and are more active. And I have a lot of people come in and say, now I look old. And you see that a perfect example is folks that do a lot of running. They lose a whole lot of body fat, and their skin gets loose, the wrinkles get deeper. And that's in combination to just natural aging, where the face gets more saggy with time and loses volume. And so a lot of these folks come in and say, I'm here because I want to feel, I want to look as good as I feel.
Right,
and as I get more healthy, I actually look older. And so those are, patients that we definitely can try to help with anywhere from fillers and Botox to surgical procedures.
Oh, really? Now, can I ask about that? Because, the magician, Penn Jillette, right? Penn Jillette?
Yeah.
Okay. He lost a lot of weight rather quickly, and he did have that, exactly what you're talking about, looked older thing going on. But now that some time has passed, I don't know if he did anything with a surgeon, or if just healthy eating is starting to make everything look good again. But he's looking pretty good lately. Not that he gained the weight back, but that the loose, flabby stuff seems to have gone away. Does that happen naturally over time?
It's very difficult to happen naturally. Usually the skin, once it's been stretched as an adult and later in life, it doesn't have the elastin and the ability to contract. And so it very rarely contracts on its own. A lot of times what those folks will start doing is having filler or fat grafting to their face. Because if you look at a youthful child's face, it's full, round, it has fullness to it. And so one way to kind of combat that droopiness is to try to fill it up or plump it up a bit.
Do you ever do any kind of surgery on the inside of the ear to make a person hear better?
I do not. That's usually either something to do with the conductive ear canals and things like that. We do a good amount with the outside of the ear and the shape of the ear, and that is something that we do in younger folks because their ears are further away from their head.
Oh.
And some kids say they get made fun of at school and that kind of stuff.
Oh my
really?
gosh.
Really? And cancer sometimes gets the ear. So I'm guessing you have to fix some of that stuff, right? You're getting 5-star reviews on Amazon, I noticed. The book is called Finding Beauty. Do you have a website you want to direct us to?
Sure. You can either visit our sweetgrassplasticsurgery.com or drdennisschimpf.com.
Okay, very good. sweetgrassplasticsurgery.com. Thank you, doctor.
Thank you. Have a great day.
You're welcome. We'll be right back.
Broadcasting from the Paddock Mall Studios, this is WOCA, Ocala, Gainesville, The Villages, 1370 AM, 96.3 FM, The Source.
Fox News, I'm Chris Foster. There are more than 2,000 flight delays nationwide. Planes were kept on the ground for a while because of computer problems with a flight planning system.
Some of the